Hi, nice to meet you. Right now, I'm a student, international student in Georgetown University, and I study English intensive academic because the next year I applied a master degree human rights.
Yeah.
Please, thank you for you help me for my homework assessment. And I, what do you think about American culture?
About American culture? Well, we're actually both from the South, so I think American culture can have a lot of wonderful community. I think a lot of people when they think about America think about big cities, and I think sometimes they miss the small communities that are just as important, if not more.
Thank you. How often do you attend culture events,
Cultural
example,
events.
concerts, gallery, arts?
Pretty often, actually. I go to a lot of shows in DC. I go to a lot of music concerts in DC. I went to the ballet a few months ago. What else? We're going to see a live taping of a podcast in a few weeks. I actually do a lot of events. Yeah.
Nice. How would you describe the cultural diversity in your community?
In our community? Well, DC itself is super diverse, especially because people are coming here for jobs and then they might leave or they might stay, and people are coming from a lot of different places all over the world. So lots of diversity, lots of good food too, lots of diverse food, lots of great stuff. Yeah.
What influence do you think American culture has a global culture?
How about some global culture? Ooh. I've only been out of the country once. Well, I would say that it seems like a lot of American businesses tend to migrate towards other places in the world. A lot of This is a hard question because I haven't been that many places. I'd say definitely, like, when I think about American culture globally, I think about business. I think that a lot of American culture, as perceived by others, is probably like very something sort of like a mythology. Like, it's really built up in people's heads, and I don't know if when they come here, it's what they're met with. So that's all I'll say on that.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
It depends on what part of our country, because our country is so big, but I've been lucky enough to see a lot of it, so I think there's a lot to learn and a lot to experience.
How often do you attend a culture events, for example, concert or gallery arts?
Probably once a month.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm busy with work.
How would you describe the culture diversity in your community?
I think living in Washington, D.C., there's all kinds of cultural events to go to, and people make the most of it. People here come from a lot of different cultures and are really educated. So I would say Washington, D.C. is probably one of the best places in the country to experience culture.
What influence do you think American culture has a global culture?
Oh, good question. Quite a bit, right? I think American music and movies and our brands, like clothing brands and restaurants and all kinds of things. I think American culture, maybe people don't know it's American culture because it's everywhere. I've traveled quite a bit and I can always find a little piece of home most of the time. So yeah, I would say American culture has a huge presence globally. And it's kind of crazy to think about.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Good luck with your assignment. Yeah, and good luck.
Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Sebastian Sanchez Gamboa. I am from Colombia. Right now, I international student in Georgetown University. Thank you for your help for my homework assessment.
You're welcome. I'm happy to do it.
What do you think about American culture?
What do I think about American culture? That's an interesting question. I mean, it's a very interesting question. It almost feels like one of those things where the researcher has actually got a different agenda and is trying to pretend it's a different set.
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a very complicated question. It's very different than it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. I'll leave it at that.
How often do you attend a cultural cultural events, for example, concert, art gallery. You,
How often do I go to art galleries and experience American culture? Well, I'll go to sports games. That's part of American culture. Maybe I'll see movies. I would say once every 2 or 3 months. But I go out to bars in America once a week, maybe. So that's another part of American culture in a way.
nice. How would you describe the cultural diversity in your community?
My community, I mean, America is extremely diverse. We're here in Washington, D.C. I mean, it's extremely international. You know, there's people from all over, like just my coworkers here. Albert's from Guatemala, you're from Colombia, I have other Colombian coworkers, they're from Ethiopia. I mean, I don't know if there's ever been a more cosmopolitan place in the world than 21st century America, especially big cities like Washington, D.C.
Thank you. And finally, what influence do you think American culture has a global culture?
A lot. I think a lot, especially maybe 50 years ago and 40, 30 years ago, post World War II. To some extent, to this day, yes, but maybe not as much. But that's an interesting question. You know, you got a lot of interesting questions. Wow.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
Gracias.
The research.